Hey Chaotic Crew, Brian here, and we've got another great deck tech for you. In this video, we're doing a mass myriad of amalgamations, and the commander is, of course, the alternate commander for the Dance of the Elements pre-con. I want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Mana Pool. Now, if you don't know what Mana Pool is, it's a fast-growing marketplace for Magic the Gathering that makes buying and selling cards easy. Their optimizer helps you get the best value in buying cards, and the team is focused on making it a great experience for buyers and sellers alike. Make sure to check out the affiliate link in the description below if you want to get any of these cards. But yeah, going over this alternate commander for the Dance of the Elements precon, it's 5 colors for a 5/5 elemental with First Strike, Vigilance, and Trample. And he has at the beginning of combat on your turn, another target elemental you control gains Myriad until end of turn, which means when that creature attacks, it'll create tokens for each other opponent that it isn't attacking, that's tapped and attacking that player. And then those tokens get exiled at the end of combat. So what's really neat is you're essentially creating 2 more enter the battlefield triggers, 2 more leave the battlefield triggers potentially, and able to do a lot with that. So a lot of different ways you can go about this. You can go enter the battlefield, you can go tokens, you can do a myriad, right? You can really dive more into that, and I kind of done a little bit of all of them. You want just a good stuff version of this deck. So here are some great examples of cards to put in the deck, right? Elspeth Stormslayer is really great. Going to be doubling the tokens we make. Going to be potentially making our creatures easier to get in, because the creatures will be gaining flying until end of turn. The myriad tokens should also have flying, and then they won't get the counters though for that 0, but then it can also remove a creature if you need to. Elspeth is really versatile here. As far as creatures, we've got a big amount, 33 creatures in the deck. It's one of the highest you would probably see. And I see I have 101 cards in the deck. I did this the other day too. Right now we're just going to take out a land. I wouldn't always recommend that, but we'll take out a mountain. We'll just say. Okay. 33 creatures. So Birds of Paradise is a great way to sort of start ramping up. I'm looking for other ramp pieces here. I don't see any besides a couple others that we'll get to later, but Bird of Paradise, just fantastic for any 5-color deck. You could argue to potentially run the Delighted Halfling as well, but there's not a lot of legendary creatures in here, so not amazing. Speaking of though, there is a legendary Calamity, and I figured because, you know, Calamity is a horse that's carrying an elemental, it's kind of cool. It's similar to Myriad. We're going to be making 2 tokens of whatever creature that saddles Calamity, or, you know, you could potentially make a token of each of other cards. So just another way to make more tokens of cards, and just a strong card in general, sort of like a backup to your commander, right? So you don't always have to have your commander on the battlefield. You can have Calamity on the battlefield. Just something to think about. It isn't an elemental, so that's kind of a knock on it in the deck, but I just love Calamity. I want to shove it in as many decks as I can, and I think the flavor with the art works really well. Chomping Changeling, really great here. Right, as a Changeling, it is an elemental, so when it enters and destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment, now you can destroy 2 more. Cloud Conceer is great. When it enters, you draw a card. So, you know, early game, you want to get some of these earlier ones out that are elementals, so that when you do play Massive Mysteries, you can actually get something off with it. Too many times with decks like this, it's really easy to put in a lot of high-end cards, and then you're waiting to cast your commander until like turn 6 or 7 because you don't have any good cards to copy with it yet, right? You want this to get value when it hits the battlefield, so something to think about there. Fecund Green Shell is really amazing in the deck. You know, it's an elemental and helps you ramp out really well. Also will buff up all your creatures, and if you have 3 of these in the battlefield, it buffs up all your creatures +6. So really, really strong there. Flame Braider is fantastic. We also should be running Smoke Braider. Basically, these are helping cast our elementals. It's a really great ramp or mana dorks for any elemental deck at all. Foundation Breaker, similar to Chomping Changeling, is going to destroy target artifact or enchantment. You can also evoke Foundation Breaker if you want to. Not probably what we're going to be doing as most with this deck, but you could do it, right? Fury is similar here. You know, it can deal 4 damage divided. It just has a great ETB for what the deck wants to do. So yeah, for sure, add that in there. Horde of Notions is fantastic. Going to be able to play elemental cards from our graveyards but also has Vigilance, Trample, and Haste, so a strong card to have in the deck. Impulsivity is going to make us cast multiple instant sorcery spells. Fantastic there. Incandescent Soulstoke is really nice too, because it's kind of like a sneak attack for our elementals, right? So if we have our commander on the battlefield and maybe not that many great elementals, we can Incandescent Soulstoke to get out a really strong one like Impulsivity or some of the other ones we're about to talk about, and can just be able to attack in, have Myriad already, so we're just really strong in the deck to get out these cards. Jubilation, also a card from the commander deck, just a way to buff up your creatures, give them +2/+2 and trample, and of course as you're myriading them out or encoring, you're getting multiple of this effect. It's so good. Lamentation's great, gain you some life, destroy creatures, just fantastic overall. Maelstrom Wanderer, love this. It's going to give all creatures you control haste, right? So when your commander enters, it can have haste. The problem with having your commander out is that if you have no other elementals to give it, it doesn't give haste. And then you play another elemental, sure you can give it Myriad, but it can't attack at its turn because it doesn't have haste. So giving haste is really important in this deck. Maelstrom Wanderer does a great job of that. Muldrifter can draw you cards. Omnath is great. Even if you give a legendary creature Myriad, you'll have to sacrifice the legendary tokens, but the end of the battlefield triggers will still proc, so it will still deal damage to any target equal to the number of elementals, which at the time that it resolves, you will have to have sacrificed the tokens, unfortunately, but it's still really good. Realmwalker, great to be able to cast elementals from the top of your library. Risen Reef, great for ramping. Rottenmouth Viper is nice because it's going to make each opponent lose 4 life unless they sacrifice an on-land permanent or card whenever it enters or attacks for each blight counter on it, right? So it's really good. You can also make this cost less to cast. Not always amazing, but it could be good there. Rumbleweed, you know, it's pretty solid to give buff up all your creatures. Sakura Tribelder is a nice ramp piece. Shimmer Creep drains your opponents. So all these cards, there's a lot, like I said, very similar to the other to the precon, right? With all these cards that are in here. Shine Striker from the main set of Lorwyn Eclipsed. You know, when it enters the battlefield, you're drawing cards equal to the number of colors among permanents. If you have your commander out, you're drawing 5 cards. But even if you're not, you know, you're drawing 1, 2, or 3 cards typically with this out when it enters. So still really solid to have on a body. Shrake Maw is good removal. Subterfuge is tempo, gives you a bunch of card draws. Thunderflock is a great board wipe. Now when you Myriad this, you're not going to board wipe 5 times or 2 times, right? It's only when you cast it, so it's good to know. The Master Multiplied is really great to have here because it's essentially going to make it so you can Myriad your legend creatures, or you're not going to be sacrificing your Myriad tokens at the end of the turn, so you keep all those tokens. Master is really great here to sort of really put the pressure on your opponents. Titan of Ministry is great, just has amazing enter the battlefield triggers. Yarick will double those. Torrent Elemental is interesting. When it attacks, you tap all creatures defending player controls. So what's really great here is that another problem with Myriad is that you have to attack into an opponent. So Torrent Elemental makes that really easily. And then if someone exiles it for whatever reason, or it gets max exiled or whatever, you can actually get Torrent Elemental back. Really cool, really cool. It's supposed to work with Delve, but this is kind of a way to, someone exiles your graveyard and Torrent Elemental's in there or whatever, you can actually get this back on the battlefield, which is kind of cool. Pretty niche, not going to use it a whole lot, but great to have. Twin Flame Travelers is fantastic. It's just, Panharmonicon for elementals, right? And includes your commander. When your commander's ability triggers to give a creature Myriad, now it can give 2 creatures Myriad or give 1 creature Myriad twice. And it does stack, so really good. And then Vernal Sovereign's great because it's going to keep generating more elemental tokens that get bigger and bigger and bigger the more you do it. So really, really solid there. So yeah, like I said, we've mentioned some weaknesses already. And I said it's pretty easy to fill the deck with a lot of top end cards. I think I've done that. But that's why we have lots of ramp. And hopefully we can get some strong cards out quickly and then get our commander out and go to town. Speaking of ramp of growth, Shared Roots, Kodama's Reach, Cultivate, all great ways to get lands out. Running Relentless Assault, right? This is a deck that relies on combat and our commander triggers on combat, so giving him an extra trigger while also giving us a second combat is really useful. Now, the first Myriad tokens will still get exiled before the second combat, but still really great. And then Ruinous Ultimatum, Raise the Palisade as sort of, board wipes that are one-sided. Really great to have here. Haunting Voyage is just great to get all of our stuff out of our graveyard. And then as far as instants, we got some strong ones here. Kindred Summons helps out a lot. Run a few counters in each deck that has blue in it. And because we have some strong in the battlefield triggers, running Ephemerate, why not? Chaos Warp, Assassin's Trophy, Beast Within, Generous Gift are great removal spells, and then Heroic Intervention as sort of another protection spell. As far as artifacts, running 4 more cards that help ramp us, right? Arcane Signet, Fellwar Stone. Herald's Horn doesn't help us get our commander out, but it does make all of our other elementals cost 1 less to cast, and it can help us with some incremental card draw, which is really great. And then Patchwork Banner also buffs all of our elementals and can tap to add mana of any color, so nice to have. And then enchantments, we are running a couple more cards here for ramp, Utopia Sprawl and Fertile Ground to help get us the colors we need to be able to do things really well. And then Descendant's Fury is great because we can sacrifice one of our Myriad tokens after it deals combat damage to a player and get a free creature from the top of our deck with that, so that's really great. Etchings of the Chosen is also fantastic. Gonna give all of our elementals +1/+1, and then we can sacrifice an elemental to give a creature we control indestructible. So typically we're doing this, we're sacrificing a Myriad token during combat to make another one of our creatures indestructible, i.e. the one that attacked. So really good there. Temur Ascendancy will draw us a card, give our creatures haste. Legion Loyalty, a bit expensive. It is... it's just thematic with giving all your stuff Myriad. Honestly, you could take this out and put another ramp spell, and I think this deck would be a lot better for it. So why don't we do that? And you know what? Let's put in... Let's see. Let's put in Harrow. And that way, we have another spell that can get 2 different lands, so different land types. It's really important. Virtue of Knowledge is great because it's another Panharmonicon, but it can also, at an instant speed, copy our commander and our commander's ability if we need to. So if we draw this either way, early or late, it's not bad. Garruk's Uprising will help draw us more cards as well. The Myriad tokens that enter, if they have more than 4 power, will draw us cards. So that's important here, and we'll also give our creatures trample. Nothing crazy about the lands. Pretty simple 5-color. We're running all the, opponent lands. A couple of each basic, a little more mountain and forest because we're using most of those. And then obviously the Secluded Courtyard, Cavern of Souls, Unclaimed Territory, 3-Tree City, Primal Beyond, a very elemental focused land base. But yeah, let's dive into a quick play test here. And I don't hate this hand, I don't love it, but let's try it out. Like I said, a big weakness this deck probably has is, probably that I loaded it with too many top-end cards. But we do have a ramp piece and 2 lands, so turn 1, we didn't draw a land. Let's go to turn 2, no land again. But we do have the Fellwar Stone, and we can play Garruk's Uprising, which is important, or we could Arcane Denial next turn. Next turn we do draw Cavern of Souls, which is really great here. And I think what we do is we hold up Arcane Denial. And we can make someone upset. They can draw a card. They can draw 2 cards. And then next turn, we'll draw another card. So actually, we were good. We were good on lands. We were never going to be punished, ever. But now, we can play something. So we could set up with a Virtue of Knowledge. It may get removed. It may not. We could play Shriekmaw without the evoke cost, which is interesting. We can't play Rottenmouth Viper. Because we can't we actually could. We could sacrifice the Fellwar Stone for Rottenmouth Viper, which I don't hate, but I don't love either. Again, we're putting 1 creature out, and our people know we want to put more creatures out of it, so they're very likely to remove it or our commander. So hard to get out. Shriekmaw is not bad, right? Shriekmaw is one that isn't going to get lots of removal, so I think we go with Shriekmaw here. And can't get every creature, only just non-black and artifact creatures. But it can kill something, maybe a commander. And now we're playing the control game, right? Now we could cast our commander this turn, or we could Garruk's Uprising, right? We could play Rottenmouth Viper. I like Garrick's Uprising to draw us cards, but that puts us a whole nother turn behind. The thing is, we're just making everyone angry by playing Massive Mysteries. So this deck kind of needs to slip under the radar a bit, right? Obviously, if you are being oppressed right now on turn 5, Massive Mysteries, Shriek Maw. But Shriek Maw is probably going to die once it attacks, and then you can't do anything the next turn. So we really need to think about how this needs to play out. So we need to play this, and then we're just waiting from there. So this is what I meant by this hand wasn't that great. We had a lot of high mana value cards in here. Not a lot to do before our commander comes out. We want to try and do more. So I would recommend, if you build this deck, to probably build it a little more on the lower end. Now, I really like this hand. There's some ramp here. There's ways to look at cards from the top of our library. Omnath is a great card to not only, copy with Myriad, but also can draw some cards potentially. Shrine Striker also can draw us cards, so we're not in a bad spot at all. So let's go with this and see where it takes us. Drawing Sea of Clouds is really great. We'll start with Spire Garden. Utopia Sprawl, we can't cast that, unfortunately. You can only enchant forests, which is probably... I shouldn't have done that. Here, this needs to be Wild Growth, not Utopia Sprawl, because I forgot this only enchants forests. Now, the problem with Wild Growth... You know what, we're going to do Trace of Abundance. And we're going to take out Utopia Sprawl. Now, the difference between the two is that Trace of Abundance can add 1 mana of any color. Utopia Sprawl, you just have to choose 1 color and do that. So it's similar to Fertile Ground, and I really like Trace of Abundance for that. So let's go ahead and try again. Okay, we will keep this hand. This is a very good hand for us. The only thing we're missing were cards to blink or get the Myriad off of, but we will play this tapped, not let anyone see what we got in our hand. Next turn, Cloud Concealer is great to have here. Island, or we can do Cavern of Souls so no one can counter. Flame Braider, fantastic card there. Draw, we get a Felwar Stone, which is not bad. We could do Felwar Stone into Fertile Ground. Sure, that gets us lots of ramp. Is that helpful? We could also I think Herald's Horn might be the play here. We could technically get out. We could also Felwar Stone, right? And then we can do 1, 2, 3 for Cloud Concealer and draw a card. I don't hate that, but honestly, I think the play is Herald's Horn, right? Because now Cloud Concealer costs 1 less. Tap Flame Braider for 2 blue. For Cloud Concealer, draw a card. And then next turn, top card of library is a land, so we don't draw. We'll draw it for turn, right? So next turn, and now we have a good card that we can give Myriad. It's going to stick around. So we can go ahead and cast Massive Mysteries if we want to. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Herald's Horn won't deny this anything less. So we could do Fertile Ground, right? Actually, we can't. We can't cast Fertile Ground. We don't have the green for it. We can cast Felwar Stone. 1, 2, Felwar Stone. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Massive Mysteries. You have combat, get Cloud Concealer Myriad, swing in, draw 2 cards. And we're generating lots of value here. This is actually really good. So if we can put more cards like Cloud Concealer in the deck, I think that's a play. Sometimes I'll build these decks and I'll think they're great on paper, and then you play them for a few times, test them out, and you're like, oh, this is what this deck needs. So really, it's good to have a few top-end cards in here, but the real value is having these low-end, high-impact cards with end-of-the-battlefield triggers, or damage triggers, or whatever, that Massive Mysteries can take advantage of. So Cloud Concealer is definitely one, and it's a common, so love that. More cards like this are good. And then yes, have a like 10 top-end cards. Not probably like the 15, 20 that I have in the deck. You want to mix it up a bit better, but no, really fun deck here. Cool commander. I always love Myriad whenever it shows up. Let me know what you think about the deck, what you would put in, what you would take out. Don't forget to watch our pre-con upgrade videos. Otherwise, I'll be back next week with a new deck tech, and you take care. Bye.